From this to this, how the site of a very large, prominent concrete industrial building became an even bigger, mainly residential area with some commerce. 9 Elms cold store dominated the skyline next to the Thames in London, England between 1965 and 1998 when it was demolished, and the site used to create the St George Wharf development. This video will take old and new pictures to show how the area has changed, as well as providing some history and information about the cold store and its replacement, the pier, and the building that has survived such a huge amount of change around it, Brunswick House. This video highlights the changes in the area and provides some history of the structures and the buildings. The change is striking. Please stay to the end to see all the detail. There will be several more videos coming about the 9 Elms area. I hope you enjoy. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Brought to you by Eclectic Experience. Change seen through images. To provide some context and show how dominating the cold store was, this is where it was on a map. This is Battersea Power Station over on the left, the River Thames, the MI6 building and the Vauxhall bus and rail stations. And this is where the cold store was and has been replaced by St George Wharf. And the map shows Brunswick House, which stood right in front of the cold store and is still there today. I remember driving over Vauxhall Bridge in the 1990s and thinking, what on earth is that, when looking at the cold store? It was a big, huge refrigerated building used for storing chilled food, including meat, butter and cheese. I was then fortunate enough to be around when the demolition started, so managed to take some photos in 98, 99 and then some afterwards. As an aside, look at the advertising sign. Notice that the number is the old style London phone number and there is no web address or email. Things changed quite quickly in the following decade. If we move towards the north bank of the Thames and look from Vauxhall Bridge, we can see the famous MI6 building, Vauxhall Bridge itself, and then the St George development as seen in 2023. There is also a huge amount of other development going on behind and towards and including Battersea Power Station. Viewing a bit further down the Thames, here is a picture I took in 2014. And for comparison, this is an image I found on Pinterest from 1972. Let's look more closely. Firstly, the MI6 building clearly was not there in 1972 compared to 2014. The cold store can be seen dominating its environment in 1972, whereas by 2014, St George Wharf was a very significant presence. St George Wharf was built between 2001 and 2010, with the tower opening in 2012. There was a significant pier or landing area extending into the Thames from the cold store. This has now been replaced by a completely new passenger pier, St George Wharf Pier, that opened in September 2011. Interestingly, looking towards the right, in 1972, the tower block is going up, and then in 2014, it is being demolished. This shows the short life expectancy of some buildings. Moving back to the South Bank, and a picture of the site in 1998 during demolition. Using the brick wall on the right and the Thames wall, I've tried to find roughly the same location to shoot this video in 2023. The change is total. The cold store was big, but the new development is a lot denser and the tower obviously a lot taller at 181 metres. Looking at this photo taken in 2011, we can see the base of the tower going up. The tower, which closely resembles a giant lighthouse, was the last part of the development to be built on the site. Unfortunately, it was the scene of a terrible accident when a helicopter crashed into the jib of a construction crane in 2013, unfortunately killing 2 people. Coming back to 1998, Here is another view of the demolition, where we can also see MI6, the old pier from a different angle, and obviously the cold store, but also look at the street lights. Coming to a similar view in 2023, MI6 is still there, but we can clearly see the new passenger pier, the base of the lighthouse tower, and the new replacement lights. Moving to 1999 after the demolition, as well as seeing how large the site is, look in the background, there's a balloon. I seem to remember this was in a fixed location and was for sightseeing trips, going up and down. In 2023, there are several high viewing platforms open to the public, such as the Shard and the lift at the Battersea Chimney. But back in 1999, these did not exist, so I can see why the balloon was viable. In 1999, I also turned the camera west and photographed Battersea Power Station, which I've done a couple of videos on. But I also took a picture of these wooden piers in the Thames shore and could not believe it when I went back in 2023, and here they are. This really demonstrates how long some things can last. They look like they have hardly changed. Moving round to look at the site from the south, with Brunswick House highlighted on the map. This is the view in 2023, and for context I have another picture from Pinterest showing Brunswick House with the cold store behind it. It is an amazing survivor that is still here today when just about everything else has changed. It probably survived because it is a listed building, first listed in 1973. According to the Historic England website, it is a late 18th century Grade 2 star listed building. The Brunswick House website has a great history section giving more details of this Georgian building and its location. Since the house was built, it has been surrounded by a gasworks, demolished in 1956, a railway terminus and goods yard, closed in 1967, and obviously the cold store, amongst other things, before the current development went up. The house was actually in railway ownership for 150 years, until 1994. It is now restored and a unique combination of architectural salvage yard together with a restaurant and bar and event space. Moving a bit further round, we see the area from Vauxhall bus station. As an aside, the station has a unique design, and when I first saw it, I wondered what the two arms were for that extended out. They actually contain 167 solar panels, which should provide a third of the bus station's electricity requirements. A feature next to the site that has been there for some time is the ventilation shaft, or air vent, which again was there when the coal store was. I believe it provides ventilation to the London Underground. Moving round, we can see the MI6 building. I think I must have been standing across the road from this building when I took the original photos in 1998. We can see how big the site was, as it included at the time a car park and a coach park next to the cold store. Some history. The cold store opened in 1965 and closed only in 1979. It was demolished in 1998-99. It was huge. It had a capacity of 1.5 million cubic feet and was sited at this location because of good communications, road, river and rail. The roads and river are still here, but the rail sidings were closed. During its life, it was also used as a film location, with an episode of The Sweeney made use of its roof, and the Richard Burton film Villain was also shot here. After it was closed, it was used for many things, including a recording studio and a squat. But it was a dangerous place, with many long dark drops. In the description, I have a link to a couple of other sources with more information. To try and show the changes, these two photos are taken from roughly the same angle, though for the 2023 picture it was necessary to stand on the other side of the road due to the scale of the St George Wharf development. I hope you've enjoyed. If so, please press the like button. With the continuing high speed of change, I'll be aiming to make similar videos, so please subscribe to the channel, click the alerts bell and add comments, especially with any additional information. Thank you for watching Eclectic Experience, change seen through images.